Okay. Hi, and welcome to this edition of the Kindness and Gratitude Summit and Gift Giveaway for the Standout Stars. I'm Brenda Pierce, and I'm here today as a guest host. And with me today is Theresa Staber. And Theresa is one of the contributing authors to the Secret Child Life After Loss book that you've been hearing about. And I hope that you'll grab a copy of it on Amazon. It is really making a difference in so many ways. And so I'm so fortunate to have Theresa, who has contributed her story and really has a mission, a vision, and a passion to share with you about how kindness and gratitude have helped her on her journey. So welcome to this show.
Thank you so much, Brenda. It's so great to be on here. And thank you for having me participate. It was the best gift I ever gave myself.
Ah, that's so awesome. And, we had a horrible situation that united us all together between the pages of the book, but we are indelibly a family together, and we support each other and we lift each other up. And we're here in this amazing opportunity now to expand our legacy of light and the message that you have to share, which is so important for people to understand. So I'd love for you to tell everyone a little bit about you and your story.
Okay. I've been thinking about this all morning. I was outside even mowing my lawn and I was thinking, because that even brought back memories of when Jess, my son, there was, the boys had to mow the lawn on every Friday. So it was my turn today to do ours. And I thought, yeah, what a joy it was to have that time, in your life when you have your kids, and life is just bliss and you're just enjoying it. It's May long weekend and, we go camping or do something fun every time. And you kind of take things for granted until something like this does happen in our lives. And then it changes everything for what priorities there are out there. So, yeah, you never know where to start because it's such a story. There's so much, but the one and certain things stand out too because it's such a journey. It doesn't just change overnight that you feel the gratitude because it is so painful. And once that did come into my life and through a friend, because we were both going through similar things, and then you see the differences. She had a young son. He was only 3. He was 3. She had 3 beautiful years with him. I had 18 years with Jess. Yeah. So that gift of time where you just have no power over that at all. Yeah. We don't know what our life journey is. Yeah. So when we would get together and we would talk about how we felt, and we did lots of tears. There's no end to tears ever. And then there shouldn't be. There's no reason not to have a tear because you love them so deeply. And with anything in your life, you love them till the end of your time. So the tears are gratitude tears that you had that time. And it still makes me cry. And that's, we lost Jess in 1996. So it's been, I've gone through a lot. I've learned so much in that time. And I embrace every person that I came into contact with, that I could also share my experience to ease their pain along the way too, to know that there was that gratitude of having that, being that beautiful person in your life for whatever length of time. And that became the joy then, and the ease of people feeling that they could say his name, because isn't that something you first come up with? It's like, oh, I didn't mean to say. I said, well, why not? He was here, he lived here, and I think he wants you to say his name. That's why you keep saying it. Because they'd look at my son, who was 2 years younger, and they would just call him Jess. And he'd go, oh, I said, I think they're just tricking you and making you play with their names so that you're saying it, because they want to hear their name, that they were here. And so that was always broke the ice and made it so much easier, because then we'd start talking about some fun things and the great memories, and even they weren't perfect people. So you'd have a few that little rat, he did this and he did that and stinker, so it's the reality of there was still that being. They're not better or holier or higher than anyone else, but you have that joy of time and stories that we all share together, the people that knew him. So it's beautiful that way. We had amazing dreams.
Oh,
It was incredible. The things that happened to us was like, you became much more aware of that spirit coming through you or around you, that you felt a warmth. I always said to my mom, I feel so warm on my back all the time. She says, I think he's hugging you. He's rubbing your back, because he didn't really want to leave you and everyone, but it was his time to go. So he's staying around you. And just having that feeling, even when I'm driving, you might find that too, when I'm driving and I feel like, oh, hey, you're sitting with me today, you're over there, how's the driving going? Or, we'll have those conversations where it's just, you're including them. And it's kind of interesting just seeing, even through all these years and the experiences that I encountered with other people going through similar situations, and how each person dealt with it differently, even in your own family.
yeah.
My husband dealt with it differently, my son and myself. And I got into reading every book there was under the sun, and it just made me feel joy. And that's why this book is so important, because I needed that book and I was searching for it. So it was finding the ones that could help, that other people were experiencing this too. It wasn't just us. And the feeling of, in some ways, camaraderie with these people, that you're all going through this time, this painful time, and that you all made it through, because you saw the joy in being grateful and being kind to each other to lift each other up. That was huge. And one story comes to mind. I was working in, I was a clerk or manager in, or department manager in a grocery store where I worked. And so I took time off, of course, while this happened. And when I came back, one day, I was down an aisle putting some product on the shelf, and I looked to see who the other people in that aisle were. And it was incredible. There were 6 of us in that aisle, and all 6 of us had lost a child.
Oh, wow.
I just went, oh my gosh, they're telling us they're all together.
Yeah.
They're going,
Yeah.
hey, you guys, we needed to get you all down this aisle together to know that we're up here all together.
Yeah.
And we're doing great. We're okay. Things are going to be okay. So it was just like that aha moment too, where you reflect back and you go, there's always that little tap on my shoulder, or that feeling to look. Why else would I look? Just carry on with my day. But I stood up and looked and went hi to everyone and wished them well, and carried on. But that stayed with me, and that's probably 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
certain things happen to us, right?
Yeah. And when they're helping us, because you never forget those things, or the insight becomes very crystal clear.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the insight is clear as a bell. It's just like it's shining there, and you're going, oh, there is so much more to this existence than we ever dreamed of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even though we never want to be part of that club, or we're never asked to be, our children never asked to go through that. The thing is, though, when you do, and you realize this crystal clear insights that are coming to you, doesn't it fill your life with so much more joy?
Yes. Yes. It's like a feeling of it was complete, that his journey was complete here. And now this is the next part of life. Did you have experiences like that as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So with my, they were twins, so Kenny and Kevin. And as Kevin grew up living, knowing that half of him is gone, there was a point where, and this will bring tears to my eyes, but I'll try to give you the Reader's Digest version. Kevin
Put your arms up, it makes it slow down.
Yeah. So Kevin, being a 15-year-old and very inquisitive and starting to try to figure out his place in the world, had a near-death experience. The long and short is he had a near-death experience. And he actually went over to the other side and actually met his brother. And I was able, when I got the call, he was an emergency. The police officer said, "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Pierce, can you come right now? Kevin's been brought to hospital, and we fear he's not going to do well." So I get there, and I'm a Reiki master, and at that point I wasn't a master yet. I think I was level 1 or level 2, but there he was laying on the stretcher, still and blue, and he was wrapped in the insulating silver reflective stuff and an IV going, and very still. And I put my hands on his head, and I just said, "Into your hands I command the spirit of my son, O Lord, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." And all of a sudden Kevin pinked up a bit, and he started to talk, and he shared with me his experience. He was telling me, I was able to ask him questions, and he was answering me, but he was on the other side with his brother.
Wow. Oh, I got goosebumps all over me.
Isn't that, it is so,
What
he
a
was able to
gift.
tell me that he saw his brother. He wears his hair spiked like I do. His eyes, I said, "What color are his eyes?" He said, "They're blue." I never told him that his eyes were blue. So he was organically repeating back to me. He says, we're talking, but we're not talking. We're communicating. And he's telling me I have to come back. I have to come back. And he said, look behind you. And there was a vision of me crying. And he says, don't break mom's heart. Go back. You have a reason to go back. And so he said, "I don't want to leave, Mom. It's so beautiful and peaceful here." But then the next breath, he was back. And we walked out of the emergency department 10 minutes later.
Oh, Brenda.
Yeah.
Wow. And does he remember that journey?
Yeah,
He does.
He does. We haven't talked about it anymore, but he has lived his life knowing that, that there's more to this life than life. So
it's a huge, huge gift he was given, wasn't he? And
was.
even through the crisis, like the scary part, it's you must have been just heartbroken seeing this happen, and then what became of it.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, though, twins who are separated by death, there's a high incidence of suicide amongst the surviving twin because they feel missing. And this was a huge, huge gift. It was, I eternally know that Kevin is protected by his brother, and other incidents that have happened since then just confirm it. And so I know that the veil is very thin. I know that there's a reason, vision, mission, and passion for why things do happen in our life. And I do know that we are divinely blessed and graced by every breath that we take, every second our heart beats. And it fills me with joy just to know that we can live in grief and journey through it. And that there's a bigger picture to it. Our children never left us to hurt us. That's number one.
Never. No.
And number two, as long as our heart beats and our and our heart beats in every breath we take, we are the living legacy for our children that have passed. They are part of us, and they are real. And that there is such a need for people to realize that the pain of grief is not something that ever leaves you. But when you can find these joyful moments, these God bump moments in your life, it changes and transcends everything in your life.
Yeah, you get that understanding, that learning, that heart message of the reason for everything.
Yeah.
And that it's the journey that we're all on, is the path is different. It's already out there, so that when that time came, to appreciate the gift, the time that you had was the biggest gift. And even though some circumstances can be so overwhelming, and it's an interesting conversation you have when you say, I'm so blessed, and people will look at me, how can you say that? You lost him. And I said, he was a gift. I was blessed with this gift of him and the journey that it led me on afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, it changed me completely. I became so much more empathetic and so much more understanding and kinder. You think you're kind. Oh, just wait till something, you know, if something does happen, you just, you know, because when it's not affecting you personally, and I found that, you know, went through a few people prior to losing Jess, and I was just like, oh, wow. And it was almost like a message preparing me for, I was going to go through something. And I thought, wow, weren't those strong messages that I would be somewhat prepared in some way? And I just thought, well, that's just crazy. At that time, I thought, this is crazy. Now I see it as, okay, that was in the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that with my husband and I too. We both had a prophetic dream the very same night. We both woke up at the same time and knew that one of our children, while I was carrying them, one, and I could put my hands right on that particular child, told us that our time with him was going to be very limited, but very special. And we both bolted up at the same time in bed. Yeah. So,
Ooh.
yeah. So just like you, and I've heard this from the other parents in the book too, they had some prophetic knowingness that that child was not going to live. And yet at the time, you would have thought that's psychotic thinking, that is like whatever, but divinely we are being prepared for what is ahead of us. It's
Yes.
picking up on those nuances. And of course, hindsight is always 2020, isn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's whether if you accept it or see it. Because I was in a bad accident when I carried Jess, and that was in May long weekend, and he was born in November. So we were four-wheel driving in Kamloops, and of course had to climb that hill, and the Jeep went backwards and sideways, and it was just a roll cage on there. No, I was seat belted in, but my husband wasn't. And so it rolled on his side. Thank goodness for fat tires, and his foot went out to stop us, right? Yeah, you can't stop it. And he fell out. So the Jeep rolled right over him, and like he was fine because there was no doors, no nothing. So he could fall out. But I continued down the hill, bouncing, rolling. Oh, it was, you know, you black out, I think. And I don't remember that part, but when I landed, I was awake, and I was upside down. And we had friends at the bottom. They were watching all this. They undid my seatbelt and took me to the hospital. And my pants were split from my waist, or, you know, above your thighs, straight down to my knees. My pants split that way.
Wow.
It was weird. And got to the hospital, and I was fine.
Oh, wow.
And the doctor said, oh, those babies, they are in there nice and snug and protected, and he's fine. So he lived through that.
Wow.
Yeah. And you go, okay,
Wow.
it wasn't time yet.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't time yet, his time yet. So there you see that as well. And I didn't have anything other than that, you know, that he had to continue on. But the night of his passing, he came to me.
Oh.
And that was just like unbelievable, you know, and same thing, you're not speaking, but you're
Communicating,
you're connecting.
right? Yeah.
And there he was at the end of the bed in this white glow, like heaven was right there at the foot of my bed. And he just said, Mom, I made it. I'm okay. I'm an angel. I went, well, of course you are, you know. You're such a good kid, little sneaker. I learned some things afterwards, but it's like he was a real person. And that vision calmed me right down, that he was okay, that he was safe, and it was meant to be. So it was very strange to go through the next few days, because I thought, no one's going to believe me if I tell them. They're going to say, well, you might see some visions, and you might see some stuff, and, you know, it's just your body. And I'm going, no, that was real as can be. So what a gift that was.
That is huge. That's everything, isn't it? And when you go through that, you can't fear death. You can't fear the process. I think in North America in particular, in our cultures, really have made it difficult to grieve.
Yes.
You know, and the whole idea around death and that whole process is difficult and mechanical. We think of the worst case scenario, being hooked up to life support and
Yeah.
all that, right?
Yeah.
When actually, you know, it really doesn't have to be that difficult. And for us to be the gift for our children and really acknowledge that they are in a better place, that's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like your son saying, it was so nice, Mom. I wanted to stay because it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think
Yeah.
the biggest thing was the peace. He said it was so peaceful.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how peaceful it is. So I think the rough stuff is the living world and all the stuff that that comes and bombards us in our daily living and that. But it really, when you can sift into that gratitude and the kindness and the peace and the love that never ends for our loved ones when they pass on.
No, never ends. No,
Never.
they're always it's always a part of you. Well, it has to be. They were part of you.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. And it's like it changes your direction even in our lives, because now we've become the communicators to share and help other people go through this.
Yeah.
So, before, when I would just kind of avoid anyone that was going through this because it broke me up too much, to now I step forward and help them. It's the kindness to be able to say, yeah, this was your training, part of the training on your life. And so now you get to be participant and help other people go through this journey as well, and find the light like we did.
Yes, exactly.
The gratitude and the kindness.
It is. It truly is. It's the greatest gift we can give to each other, is that gift of compassion and kindness and just filling ourselves with the gratitude of life lived well, no matter how long we live, no matter how many lives we touch. We're better people because we know what compassion is in action.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I really, really appreciate you, Theresa, for being part of the book, being a part of this beautiful summit, sharing your wisdom and legacy of Jess, and and just being part of our family within the book. That is eternally true.
It truly is. It's just filled part of my cup, my bucket, to be part of something so beautiful. Thank you for the vision that you and Dr. Sue had to seeing this and doing it to the end, like making this happen. I appreciate that so much, and the gift that this is giving to more families throughout the world, because we can all benefit from sharing our stories.
Absolutely.
And make a difference.
And so with that, I just wanted to let you know that we collectively are creating a gift page, and each of the contributors, speakers here that are coming through the Secret Child Life After Loss family, have a family page, and each of us are a gift and have a gift to share with you. So please go to www.thesecretchildbookseries.com/WOK for Week of Kindness. But it really means we are okay. That's what I'm taking it as.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
It just popped up, and here we are. We are okay, and we are okay together. And kindness and gratitude can only bless you on your journey. So for now, thank you very much, and we look forward to coming back with more of our special family to share with you. Bye for now.
Thank you.